Digitalization, the Internet, and other technologies have broken down all the walls of the world, allowing the democratization of capital, technology, and information to come at the same time. Technological progress has proven that the function of the left brain can be replaced, and technology can be more efficient. Secondly, the transformation of exchange, production, trading, innovation, and lifestyle, especially as China is facing the cross-cutting of these 5 ways, has led more and more people to shift from practical rational needs such as survival and food, to emotional demands such as entertainment and happiness. The shift from focusing on high economic growth with one hand GDP to sacrificing GDP to achieving energy conservation and consumption reduction and calculating the happiness index in various regions is clear evidence. Thirdly, the Huashan road of science and technology has been falsified, and various factors such as capital, culture, and talent are constantly being dismantled, grafted, and integrated under the impact of marketization, industrialization, virtualization, and other forms. The reallocation of these resource elements is not just a theoretical logical deduction and systematic analysis, but requires improvised inspiration, obsession with details, and creativity. Fourthly, people's faith in science and technology is quietly transforming into a reverence for art and creativity. On the one hand, compared to professions such as lawyers, accountants, and auditors, many people prefer to work in the fields of art, entertainment, and design. For example, art designers in the United States have grown tenfold in the past decade. On the other hand, creativity is becoming a global trend. Singapore's creative industry with design, art, and media as its 3 pillars, has an average annual growth rate of over 8% higher than economic growth. And Shanghai's creative industry has also accounted for 6.55% of the local GDP. In addition, the government's emphasis and cultivation on the creative industry, such as Chongqing's plan to build 20 creative industry bases in 2008, bringing the assets of the creative industry to over 800 billion by 2012, will undoubtedly accelerate the switching of the creative engine. As a result, with left brain control is clearly outdated, and the thinking style of the younger generation has shifted from left switch from brain to right brain. The right brain belongs to the brain that can generate beauty and joy through inspiration, intuition, music, art, religion, and other aspects. It processes information through spatial dependence and intuitive simulation of creative thinking, opening up a jumping and fantasy imagination space for humans. The right brain represents personalization, virtualization, creativity, and fashion, which precisely matches the infiltration of multiple civilizations, the intersection of multiple ways, and the fusion of multiple needs under globalization, for convening, capital injection, and other forms. By the end of the year, the market value of China's investment fund had exceeded trillion yuan, which was only trillion yuan a year ago. That is to say, the development in 1 year is twice that of last year's total. Statistics also show that in the number of investors opening accounts in the Shanghai and Shenzhen stock markets reached 1,000, with an average of over 10,000 accounts per trading day. In the context of global liquidity surplus, the opportunity for concentrated release has finally emerged, with the accumulation of years of sustained high-speed growth energy in the national economy, enhanced profitability of enterprises, appreciation energy of RMB, and enhanced international competitiveness. Although facts have proved that the soaring stock index and the instantaneous expansion of market value are unsustainable, both the number and scale of institutional investors such as investment fund, QFII, QDII, and hundreds of millions of individual investors, as well as the equivalent of financial assets accounting for half of the stock market, and the degree of securitization of state-owned assets indicate that China's economy is undergoing sustainable and irreversible structural changes, and the capital market is becoming the country one of the most important wealth investment and management platforms for enterprises and the people, shifting from excessive reliance on bank savings to the capital market. China is entering an exciting great era from the commodity era. The era of capital finance can provide speculation opportunities for funds. Since the beginning of FIS, inconsistent words and actions constantly applying to increase investment quotas while loudly short-selling the stock market have been exploiting the policy uncertainty, instability, and unpredictability of the Chinese stock market to profit. On the other hand, the more complex a system is, the more stable it may be. On May, China's share market unexpectedly fell % due to an increase in stamp duty. On the same day, the H share market only fell % while the B share market fell more than %. This phenomenon has been referred to by foreign media as the strange phenomenon of Chinese corporate stock prices. For foreign investors, the chaos of China's finance is evident. In addition, China's finance is opening up to the outside world, and in the face of various disturbances from external forces, Hong Kong can play a buffering role to some extent. It can be foreseen that China's finance will be forced to develop greatly in the process of being utilized, and the stability of complex system self-organization. However, the complexity and chaos of the financial field itself not only confuse foreign financial capital, but also the management of China. It can only be a matter of cracking down on the situation and being dragged away by the situation. Fourthly, the Chinese-style social liquidation is the most peaceful. It is common around the world that too much funds need to be liquidated. The law is only expressed differently in different economies. In the classic market economy, the outbreak of financial crises became the main way to evaporate funds and close positions. But it brought about severe economic fluctuations and social unrest. For example, the Asian financial crisis caused many large companies to go bankrupt and go bankrupt. In South Korea, people also used their household gold products to help the government overcome difficulties. Under China's special way of settling funds, the administrative liquidation has replaced the severe financial crisis. The management often directly forces project shutdowns in the form of policy directives, causing the chain of huge funds to instantly achieving the effect of cooling and evaporating. During this process, banks with government guarantees played the role of shock absorbers. For example, the T-Bun incident completely wiped out the billion yuan loans of 6 financial institutions, forcing banks to follow the company and suffer significant losses. From this perspective, the market economy with Chinese characteristics has alienated the classic expression of financial crisis and to some extent ensured the smooth operation of the economy. But this seems to the financial crisis has not yet bottomed out, but no one mentions currency wars anymore, as they are considered war dollars in the book. The murderous and behind-the-scenes Wall Street tycoons died before they got out, while most of the survivors sold themselves to the government, were denationalized, and even did transsexual surgery to return to the bank to survive. The expected market of painful shearing by the crisis did not happen, which made people obsessed with explaining the financial crisis with conspiracy theory very frustrated. Did investment banks die of mass suicide? Just as currency war itself is a specious rumor strung together with bizarre conspiracies, even such a book is rumored to be a copycat version because the original version comes from the United States. However, the views in the book perfectly match the needs of those who have suffered heavy losses due to misjudgment of the situation, as dressing themselves as victims of uncertainty is more likely to gain sympathy. Therefore, as soon as this book was published, it was highly sought after and appeared at high-level financial seminars, serving as a shield against pressure. However, with the passage of time, the currency war has no effect on the overall situation, and it is still not eloquent enough to be used for casual conversation after meals. The essence of the financial crisis is money surplus, but in the conspiracy theory, money can be controlled unilaterally and completely. The 6 major families behind the U.S. government and the Federal Reserve control the situation, using cunning tactics to influence currency flows and earn large amounts of money, in order to achieve their goals by killing people and de-Buddha. However, the most fatal flaw of this logic is that the government and the 6 major families do not have the control they expected. They may have controlled the currency within the banking system. Once the currency flows out, it is not only difficult to track but also repeatedly transforms into capital and hot money. What is even more terrifying is that during this process the scale of the currency continues to expand. The expansion ability continues to improve, and speculative models are extensively replicated, creating a vast amount of money, book assets or liabilities registered on the balance sheets of financial institutions are in reality dependent on the price of resources and assets. The contradiction between the leveraged expansion of monetary capital and the limitation of the price rise of assets and resources will automatically Cali close positions under the law of value. Obviously, this is the original sin of self-expansion and self-evaporation in finance. So on the one hand, the runaway of currency falsify the possibility of a holistic and long-term monetary conspiracy. On the other hand, the automatic liquidation of currency has falsified the possibility of a century-long and shocking conspiracy. Banking, of course, it is not ruled out enterprises with large sums of money. In just 4 months, 5 foreign institutions directly or indirectly invested in domestic cement-listed companies. However, to some extent, the influx of foreign financial capital, foreign financial institutions will also play a role of catfish effect, accelerating the process of China's financial reform, stimulating Chinese people's original investment awareness, indifference and numbness of the financial concept. Secondly, the currency position difference is too large. The price of a country's currency, also known as the exchange rate, is actually all domestic goods compared to US dollar assets. RMB assets undoubtedly have huge room for appreciation and speculation due to their total bid price. The essence of financial transactions is speculation, and places with stories will naturally attract international financial speculators. The consistent expectation or premeditation of RMB appreciation has caused excess global liquidity to accumulate in China on the one hand, settling on physical assets and resources such as real estate and stock market, triggering various RMB asset protection in China war. On the other hand, the excess funds are driving the innovation and development of financial derivatives such as stock index futures, options, commodity futures, etc., causing China's virtual economy and real economy to grow dually separate, because only through the development of financial derivatives can the connection with the domestic real economy be blocked, creating a space for international speculators to freely speculate and allowing excess currency to evaporate as much as possible, such as the rapidly developing derivatives market in the City of London after the financial bomb. May it avoid domestic real resources being hijacked by international financial capital. The anti-Japanese war itself and the development of the virtual economy mean that China is being pushed into the era of financial civilization by international speculators. Thirdly, the complexity of China's financial sector is very high. This complexity is mainly reflected in different types of A shares, B shares, H shares, etc. Parallel coexistence of stocks and their corresponding rules. Staggered operation of various investment mechanisms such as QFII and QDII. It may even form a coexistence pattern of multiple financial centers such as Hong Kong and Shanghai. However, on the one hand, simpler things are less prone to errors, and more complex things are more likely to have vulnerabilities, which are easily exploited. At present, there is still a long way to go before the game rules in all aspects of China's financial sector are in place. The improvement of the game rules in the stock market itself and the establishment of rules in other financial markets, including futures, options, and other derivative markets, became popular in countries such as India, emphasizing the government's control over currency flow, which became the mainstream opinion in academia, and most mathematicians were still advocating for free currency floating before this. At the same time, discussions about the financial explosion in China are also on the rise, with the mainstream view that China is at the center of the vortex and has a high probability of crisis. They are worried that China will be blown up and then destroyed. In fact, the current situation of China's finance is more aptly described as the financial explosion because it represents a long-awaited energy, and the process of ultimately entering the financial explosion can be controlled by the government. In the absence of a sound financial system in China, relevant departments will not easily loosen financial regulations. As a result, China's financial civilization will transition from the financial explosion to a controlled explosion. From the perspective of Chinese reality, industrial civilization and agricultural civilization are still ongoing, and information civilization is beginning to emerge. The financial industry, on the other hand, belongs to the model of strict national regulation and a conservative approach. At this moment, entering the financial civilization still requires several hurdles. The first is the effective grafting of financial civilization with industrial civilization, agricultural civilization, and information civilization. As China's economic development mainly depends on backward state-owned enterprises, the traditional economy civilization dominated by these state-owned enterprises is likely to be magnified in the financial civilization, and finally destroyed by the financial civilization. Once the country liberalized the private economy and the innovation vitality of the whole society, it is likely to enter a benign interaction state of the four civilizations. The second is the level of understanding of the game rules of financial civilization by relevant parties, and the degree of subversion of the wisdom of industrial civilization. For example, many experts believe that the phenomenon of nationwide stock trading is abnormal and a signal of the stock market reaching its peak, while officials from the State-Owned Assets Supervision and Administration Commission believe that nationwide stock trading is a great thing due to our limited knowledge. It is difficult to grasp it clearly within a limited time frame, regardless of the purpose for which this statement is made. At least it indicates that the management still allows room for discussion on new phenomena, rather than blindly denying them. China's hybrid finance effectively balances tolerance and control, and may dominate the next wave of financial civilization.